Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Times Now and I'm Poonam Burde. You're watching the newspaper show. Over the next half an hour, we're going to get you what's making headlines in the top newspapers of today. Let's begin with the Times of India. We are going to move on to the Navbharat Times and Economic Times just in a bit. But let's begin with what the Delhi edition of the Times of India holds for its readers this morning. It talks about, of course, what are the new COVID-19 hotspots. There are three major cities that are now emerging as the urban hotspots for COVID-19. These include Hyderabad, Bengaluru and Pune. Cases are now slowing down in Delhi and Mumbai, which of course have been of concern over the last couple of months. Mumbai was the worst affected city, but it is slowly recovering. The number of cases in that particular city are now on the decline, which is a good news coming in for Mumbai and for Maharashtra. The highest density of cases as far as urban clusters go, that is in Chennai. The growth rate over the last 4 weeks is what the Times of India is reporting. Bengaluru, of course, there are 12.9 cases in the last, that's the growth rate, I beg your pardon, in the last 4 weeks, followed by Hyderabad, Pune, Surat, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai, then Mumbai. Mumbai, which was at the top of this particular list, has now moved down. Cases are, of course, slowing down in Chennai as well. Kerala has confirmed that there is community transmission. Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan made that declaration yesterday. He said that there seems to be community transmission of COVID-19 in 2 coastal hamlets in Thiruvananthapuram, which is the capital of that particular state. There also has been a lockdown now in that particular belt because of this. Another big headline that the Times of India talks of today is the visit of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh yesterday to the forward areas. Rajnath Singh there met with the ITBP Jawans. He met with the armed forces. He was flanked, of course, by Army Chief and the CDS. Rajnath Singh there said, hopeful but cannot guarantee China talks outcome. He says, will not allow land grab. He made that comment at Pangong Tso when he was meeting our armed forces. He also did witness military exercises there in Ladakh in the forward areas. He inspected a machine gun in Leh while watching an army exercise with new generation weapons. Ancillary to that, in a show of strategic intent against China, the Indian Navy also conducted drills of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. That's also the big story that the Times of India is reporting today. Yesterday, of course, Prime Minister Modi, for the very first time after India's inclusion as a temporary member of the UNSC, addressed the UN platform yesterday. That is when he spoke about multilateralism and India's role in a post-COVID era. Prime Minister calls for reformed multilateralism at the United Nations. That's another blurb here. He makes a point which says, reminding the UN session that an Indian was the first president of the first Economic and Social Council. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the fact that India, one of the largest members of the UN system and the oldest, did not yet head even one of the bigger UN organizations. China heads 3. That is a reminder coming in from the Prime Minister at that particular forum. He also spoke about why it is important to assess the UN's role and its relevance today. He also made a strong pitch for what he called reformed multilateralism. Another big story coming in, of course, is about Kulbhushan Jadhav. Since it's been 3 years since he's been wrongly incarcerated by a kangaroo court in Pakistan. 2 days ago, we were given consular access to him, which was, of course, a sham by Pakistan. As outrage grew over that, as the Indian Foreign Ministry rejected all the claims that were made by the Foreign Ministry of Pakistan, Pakistan now, to save face, has tried another facade. They say that we are offering you unhindered access to Jadhav. This is a comment coming in from their highest official in the foreign ministry, really. The foreign minister as well, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, we've been told that in a television interview, Shah Mahmood Qureshi also said that a third consular access offer was announced to India as far as Kulbhushan Jadhav was concerned. There is also information about what's really happening in the Congress party and the entire drama that is playing out in Rajasthan. Exit of Young Turks, no loss for the Congress. This is what Rahul Gandhi, the Gandhi Scion, the Congress MP, erstwhile president of the Congress party, said. He said that a couple of days after Congress functionaries denied that he had taken a swipe at Jyotiraditya Scindia and Sachin Pilot, Rahul Gandhi indeed slammed the Young Turks for leaving the party. He stated that their exits were no loss and would create room for new leaders. We're given to understand that this comment was made by Rahul Gandhi during an address to NSUI leaders, which is, of course, the student wing of the Congress party. As far as the Rajasthan mess is concerned, a breather has come in until Tuesday for the 18 rebel MLAs and, of course, Sachin Pilot. The court will be hearing, the Rajasthan High Court will be hearing that particular case on Monday. Until Tuesday is when CP Joshi, who's the Speaker of the Rajasthan Assembly, cannot take any action, cannot disqualify any of these 18 MLAs, including Sachin Pilot. Digital payments widen gap with ATM withdrawals. There's also the big information coming here. There are signs that India is turning into a digital payment economy less dependent on cash. That's the vision that Prime Minister Modi and the NDA Sarkar had for this country. We have to move towards a more digital space, towards a digital economy. COVID-19 and the spread of it, attempt to keep a lid on the spread of that particular pandemic, is also helping us to move in that particular direction. This is what the Prime Minister also wanted. We now know that digital payments, the gap between that and ATM withdrawals is only widening. Good news coming in there. An unfortunate bit of information coming in from financial capital, which is Mumbai. A building crash in Mumbai because of the monsoons. This is in the Fort area, which is South Mumbai. The toll has now gone up to 10. We're given to understand that fire personnel were had retrieved 4 more bodies from under the debris. They also rescued a person who unfortunately succumbed to injuries. The families of the dead will be given 4 lakh rupees and those of the injured will be given 50,000 rupees as ex gratia. That has been the announcement that has come in from the Maharashtra government. These are the big stories in the Times of India. Moving on to what the Navbharat Times holds for its readers this Saturday morning. The biggest news in the Navbharat Times as well is on Rajnath Singh's visit to the forward areas in Ladakh. He talks of Rajnath bole, Cheen se baat jari, kis had tak hal niklega, koi guarantee nahi. That is what he told the Jawans there. He said that all diplomatic channels are open. We are holding talks with China, but whether or not China sticks to its end of the bargain, we do not know. Rajasthan ke ran mein Kendriya Mantri par tir is another big story that is coming in from the Navbharat Times. This, of course, is the involvement of Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, the Union Minister. He's the Jal Shakti Minister, a senior BJP functionary who has been now dragged into this entire controversy. He, of course, and the BJP have come out and denied all those particular allegations. But that's the big story in the Navbharat Times. They're leading with that. MLA Khareed mein FIR, Giraftari or suspension. There was an FIR. We did see high drama yesterday at Manesar, where Rajasthan police and Haryana police sort of got into a tiff, where Rajasthan police, the SOG, came into Manesar, where pilot camp MLAs are camping. They wanted to arrest them. They, of course, have an arrest warrant for it. We're given to understand that the drama is now going to shift elsewhere because some of those MLAs have been shifted to an alternate location. That is the big story coming in the Navbharat Times. We also have a bit about Kulbhushan Jadhav, which also finds place in the Times of India. Bharat ki sharton par Jadhav se baithak ko Pak taiyar. This is what the Foreign Minister of Pakistan has said. That finds another mention on the front page in the Navbharat Times. The Bachchans and their fight with COVID-19 also finds space in the paper. Aishwarya Rai, Aradhya bhi aspatal mein bharti. So far, we knew that both of them were in home quarantine and only Big B and Abhishek were in Nanavati Hospital. But as of yesterday, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and Aradhya, Abhishek and Aishwarya's daughter, have also been admitted to the Mumbai hospital. They are undergoing treatment there for COVID-19. Prime Minister Modi's comments at the UN forum yesterday also find mention on the front page of the Navbharat Times. Halat ke hisab se badlav laye UN. This is the reminder that Prime Minister Modi gave to the United Nations forum yesterday. He was among the 13 odd dignitaries that spoke at that particular council. He made sure to remind the UN that India needs to find its place as far as this global forum was concerned. These are the big stories that the Navbharat Times tracks for its readers this Saturday morning. Moving on to what the Economic Times holds and what the economic revival of India really holds in this particular post-COVID in unlock phase of COVID-19. The big one is, of course, relief for telecos that came in, especially to Vodafone Idea, that came in yesterday. After that, their shares surged 15% on intraday. The Appellate Tribunal, which is the TDSAT, had stayed a try order blocking the Vodafone Idea plan. The regulator's directive the Appellate Tribunal says that the regulator, which is the TRAI, their directive lacked even prima facie reasons. This, of course, is a big relief to Vodafone Idea. With that, VIL's shares surged 15% in intraday trade yesterday. Airtel, of course, will have to move against that TRAI order separately. That is also what the Economic Times talks about. Phone shipments have fallen 48% in April and June. This, of course, is because of the pandemic and the subsequent lockdown and the impact of COVID-19, not just on India, but across the globe. Apple, of course, is the worst affected. Samsung somehow has managed to beat that particular wave. Smartphone shipments in India fell 48% on year in April-June to 17.3 million units due to shutdowns. Apple was the least hit among the top 10 players. I beg your pardon. Apple was impacted the least. Samsung was impacted the most. That's the big story. That's a big headline in the Economic Times this Saturday morning. They also talk about what's happening with China and the situation at the line of actual control. PLA troops yet to leave key points. India verifies status. That's the big story here on the Economic Times. Chinese structures present at PP-15. Access to patrolling points blocked at Depsang and Pangong So. There is, of course, some progress which also finds mention in this particular article. It says that the presence of Chinese troops noted at Hot Springs, Pangong So and Depsang Plains. Chinese structures, soldiers have been pushed back, removed in Galwan and Gogra. Both sides, which is India and China, agreed to bring down number of troops at friction points to 50. Indian patrolling parties still cannot access Finger 4 and 5 in areas beyond that. At Depsang, intrusion is at bottleneck on the Indian side of the LAC. That's the information coming in as far as the Ladakh standoff is concerned. Those are the important points as far as what really has happened in the last 1 month since the clash at Galwan, in which unfortunately 20 of our brave Jawans were martyred. Moving on. Good news coming in for the FMCG brand Britannia. Britannia's Q1 profit has doubled to 516 crore rupees. Its company's sales have risen 25% to 3,307 crore at a fastest pace in 8 years. They're back in strong demand. That's the bit of information coming in for Britannia. Chinese TikTok has been banned in India. Other countries are also looking to ban it. Chinese TikTok clones are now vying for that particular space, especially in India. We have seen Indian startups, at least 4 of them, trying to be alternatives to TikTok, which is Mitro, Chingari, Trell and Bolo India. But we have seen that there are 2 other companies which are China-based, are also now vying for that particular space. ByteDance is competing with Xiaomi in China as far as the smartphone segment is concerned. But we've seen that as far as the Google Play Store listing is concerned, there are 3 apps which are now Chinese-owned that have moved in the top 10 list of Google Play Store in just the last month. Mark Zuckerberg has spoken about COVID-19, its impact, and what really holds for that particular company. He says that United States' COVID response is disappointing. The Facebook CEO expressed his concern in an interview with Anthony Fauci. He is the US's top infectious disease expert. To quote Mark Zuckerberg, he said, "It's really disappointing that the credibility of top scientists and the CDC are being questioned. I strongly agree that we need something of a reset here." Anthony Fauci, who is also US's top infectious disease expert, he said that we have to regroup, call a time out. Now, criticism for Donald Trump's administration's response to this entire pandemic has been coming through for several weeks now. We're now seeing economists also talk about it because the economic impact of how the US government responded is large. Mark Zuckerberg, who's the CEO of Facebook, is now also opening up. He's saying that it's really disappointing the way Trump administration has handled this, and how that has put a question mark on how the scientists in the country are working towards dealing with this pandemic. That's the big story coming in from the Economic Times. It also talks about how the farm sector is set to grow at a fastest pace in India. India's farm sector is poised to grow at its fastest pace in more than a decade, with a good monsoon and increase in sowing acreage, kindling hopes of a boom in rural demand. It could log nominal growth of almost 13% compared to a 5% average of 5-year average of 9%. This is what Barclays India has estimated. That, of course, is good news coming in for India, which is predominantly still an agrarian economy. There's also a bit of information about the change of guard at HCL Technologies. Shiv Nadar has made way for his daughter at the helm. He, of course, will continue as the MD of HCL Technologies, but his daughter is now going to take over. He says the worst is over for the company, and this comes as profit falls 7.3% in Q1, but the Nadars are confident Roshni Nadar Malhotra is now the chairman of HCL Technologies. That's the big story coming in from the Economic Times. The city editions, of course, hold different information coming in from those respective cities. We are going to begin with the national capital. Doctors are finding a way, but no cure yet in the capital. That's the big information coming in. Over 1.2 lakh doctors have backup to save lives. Now, after experimenting with several drugs and therapies, doctors in hospitals across New Delhi say that they have finally developed a cocktail of sorts, a therapy for COVID-19 that is effective and is yielding better results. Parveena now joins us for more. Parveena, this of course gives hope because the number of cases in the national capital are only on the rise. Even though there is no cure, there is a trial and error method that is on, there is experimentation that is on, and that of course is helping patients.
Well, yes, remember, the national capital has been one of the cities which has reported the highest number of cases in the country. And through these, phases, we have seen the state government and the medical fraternity has been adopting a lot of ways to reduce the number of cases they have been reporting. And we have seen the last few weeks have seen drastic fall in the number of cases they have reported. After adopting several other ways, it's finally the medicine, the drug which can reduce the number of cases, and they have finally found a therapy which can not stop the infection completely, but at least help with the patients who are suffering in the hospitals, and they will help with the reduction in the or to prevent the blood clotting or also to check on the viral load. Remember, initially when in India they were reporting initial cases of COVID-19, the anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine, HCQ, which was used. Now the experts and the doctors are saying with growing numbers of the cases, that drug is not very useful or effective, and hence they were doing a lot of trial and error process to find out a more effective way of handling these patients. And then they say that this has been the most effective therapy they have found in the national capital.
Right, it's a novel virus and it requires novel ways of dealing with. We do not have a vaccine or a cure yet, but of course a mixture of drugs, a cocktail of them is helping patients, especially in the national capital. Moving on to what Mumbai's edition of today's newspaper holds. Unfortunately, the virus has claimed 3 cops in the last 24 hours. We've seen several policemen in the city of Mumbai, across Maharashtra also, who have been affected in the line of duty with COVID-19. The death toll, unfortunately, has been pretty high. In the last 24 hours, we've seen 3 cops who have succumbed to that virus. But the big information that is coming in from Mumbai is that 8,000 cases have been recorded in that particular state in just a day. Arunil is joining us for more details on that. Now, we're inching closer to the 3 lakh mark in Maharashtra, Arunil, and on Friday, the state added over 8,000 cases.
Well, more than 8,300 cases were added in the state of Maharashtra, Poonam. This is the second highest single day cases count in the state of Maharashtra. And now the total number of cases in Maharashtra is 2,92,000. So yes, Maharashtra is inching closer to the dreadful 3 lakh mark now. Speaking about Mumbai, more than 1,200 cases were recorded in the financial capital of the country. And now the cases are just more than 99,000. So it is close to the dreadful 1 lakh mark in the city of Mumbai as well. But there is a ray of hope when it comes to Mumbai. More than 70% of these cases have recovered. They have been treated and discharged from the hospitals. One more important development, Poonam, from basically Mumbai will be the Maharashtra government passed an order saying that all the people from essential services who travel by local trains now, they will be given an e-pass with a QR code now. So that will help the people checking, basically the cops who will be checking these people from essential services to ensure that there is social distancing and also ensure that nobody outside the essential services mark travels in the local train.
Right, this is a move to, of course, keep a lid on the spread of COVID-19 in the city of Mumbai, which fortunately is now recording a slip in the number of cases it records every single day. Moving on to Bengaluru. Now, Bengaluru man, unfortunately, broke into a hospital. He whisked away his wife and baby who were COVID positive. There is a lapse coming in from a particular hospital there in Bengaluru. We also seen that the Karnataka government, which is now on high alert because the number of cases, especially in the city of Bengaluru, are increasing. It is becoming the new urban hotspot, so to say, of COVID-19. Shramik trains have now been stopped in Karnataka. The government, of course, is claiming that there is no demand from workers, and that is why there is no reason for these trains to ply. But the big news coming in from Bengaluru is that test results are not needed to hand over bodies of suspected COVID-19 cases. That is a decision coming in from the Karnataka government. Imran is joining us for more on this. Imran, this could be a controversial order.
Well, there was a lot of delays in terms of handing over the dead bodies to the patients and family members, and that's causing a lot of issue there. Family members saying that even for more than 1 to 2 days they had to wait until they have the BBMP officials handed over the body to them because the test results were getting late. And now the commissioner has reversed the order, and he said that body can be handed over if a patient is COVID positive. It can be immediately handed over to the family. And if there is a patient is test report results are still being waited, then they can hand over the body, but the family member have to take them straight to the place of cremation or burial. And if a patient died at home, then the BBMP officer has to issue certificate that he has no injuries. And later, when these test results come, if he's found COVID positive, the family members will be treated as primary contacts. This is being done because there are a lot of Bangalore has seen the died COVID deaths, and more than 500 deaths have reported in Bangalore. And the delay in family members getting the bodies was causing a lot of stress to the family members. And
right, the Karnataka government there has put new protocols in place. Thank you so much for joining us with those details, Imran. Moving on to what the City of Joy holds for its readers this morning. City Amusement Park is going to host a COVID facility. That is the big information coming in from Kolkata there. Tamal is joining us for more. Tamal, earlier we saw Eden Gardens being converted into a COVID facility. Now the city's leading entertainment zone is also going to be converted into one.
Well, that's right, Poonam. There had been a massive spike in number of cases, and the government says they are trying to be prepared with beds with such facilities so that when there is, a further explosion in numbers, they can be tackled. So several methods have been adopted. As you rightly mentioned, Eden Garden has been requisitioned, but then Eden Garden, for the time being, will only be used for the police personnel as a quarantine facility for police personnel. That apart, the government has also requisitioned 2 more stadiums in the city.
Yes.
They will be used for the purpose of safe home. Now, safe home as a concept is essentially for those who cannot afford to stay home in home isolation, and they need to be taken under government care.
Right.
And now, yes, the Nico Park Amusement Park banquet, which is a huge banquet, has also been requisitioned by the government for the purpose of
This also is in the view of the number of cases that are increasing not just in Kolkata but across the state of West Bengal, and that is putting pressure on the capital city. For the moment, thank you, Tamal, for joining us with those details. That's all we could pack in for you in the newspaper show this morning. Thank you for watching.